Yo, what's cracking, guys? In this video, I will be explaining how to put together a quote. Quote and estimate are the same thing. I'll be using those terms interchangeably in this video. So obviously, your quote will vary as far as what type of field of work that you're in. This will be an example of a painting quote. But if you're a plumber, a carpenter, whatever, there's still some basic principles that will apply to your type of estimate as well. So let's go over to the screen capture and we'll get cracking. All right, so you can see at the top, I've got our header, which says our company name. It's got our address and our phone number. This is a really nice thing to have as far as your contact information. It just makes it really easy on your client to find any of your information. And if you're looking for your phone number, if they see it again in your estimate, it's just very easy for them to find it. I should mention too that I am doing this particular document inside of Apple Pages. It'll look similar if you're using Microsoft Word or Google Docs. This is a very basic, Word editor, or word processor. All right, so next I've got the date and the date is when I actually am putting the estimate together, and then below that I've got my client's name, Bob and Jane Smith, and then I've got their address, and over here there's their email and phone. This is something Josh gets on me about because I don't always include this when I'm putting together my estimates, but this is actually a thing that's nice for you, because when you go through and do your estimate and send it, a lot of times if they accept, you might have to find their contact information again, so it's just really nice to have all of their information in one spot. So the next piece, I've just got this title here. It says interior quote. If it's an exterior quote, I will denote that here. And then below I've got 3 items that my client wanted me to quote out. So I've got their master bathroom, master bedroom, and upstairs foyer. For painting, it's pretty easy because a lot of times they want us to do an entire room. So that's how I denote each section. And I like itemizing my quotes because it gives my clients an opportunity to do an a la carte option. So what they can do is say like, oh, I only want the master bedroom and the upstairs foyer, so they only want items 1 and 3. It just makes it really convenient for them as far as how the pricing is broken down. And you can see below each section is a description of the work that's going to be done in those particular rooms. The more specific you can get in your details of the work that's going to be done, the better, because you want to have inclusions, which is the type of work that's going to be done, and then exclusions, which would be down here in item 2, the master bedroom. It says closet is not included in scope of work. And as you get more experience, you'll start to understand where those little hiccups are going to land. And the whole point of the estimate is to be very transparent with the work that you are quoting out and saying that you are going to do. And you can run into some issues when your quote can be a little ambiguous and your client thinks that, oh, I thought this was included. And the less of that you have, the smoother your jobs will go, particularly when it comes time to invoice. And then, you can you start to understand like what needs to be included in the quote and what needs to be excluded. But that's just the details that you want to focus on as you're putting one of these together. Most of the time, the client they know the work that you came out to quote, and what they really are interested in is right here, the price. So that's why I bold that. It just makes it really easy for them to see it when they are, opening up their email. It is almost always the very first thing they're going to look for is the price. So, you've got up here again, you've got the header, the date of the quote, the information for all the contact information for the client. This is also a lot of the times when I'm going back over my quotes, what I'm really looking for is either their phone number or where they live, because I need to put that in my GPS to get back to the job if they have accepted and I actually have to go work at their house. So that's why it's nice to have all that information right there for you inside of your estimates, because you're going to end up doing a lot of these. So the smoother and easier you make it, the better it is. All right, so we've got up here again, we've got all of the three items that they want to quote it out. We've got the prices, we've got the inclusions and the exclusions. One of the things that we have is that, the price includes the cost of materials and paint. That's just something that we always have in there so that they know that it's labor and materials included. If you have a more complex set of, particularly for carpentry and stuff, the material cost is so much higher than it is with painting. I would definitely recommend kind of breaking down the cost of each of the the different items and the different materials you're using, because a lot of times with carpentry and plumbing and things, the material cost can be even more expensive than the actual cost of the labor. So that's just something to consider. Down here we've got our header again, and this is always the last page of the quote, regardless of how many pages the quote ends up being, and that really is determined by how large the scope of the job is. Sometimes when I'm doing a full interior quote, it's it can be like 5-6 pages long, but this is always the last page here. So it's basically a legal disclaimer, and the first line says, any alteration or deviation from the above specifications involving extra costs will be executed upon written order and will become an extra charge over and above the estimate on this contract. All that is saying is that if they start adding work, you get to give them another either estimate or an additional invoice for the work that you completed that's above what you originally quoted out. It is a little protection buffer there from a legal perspective. Josh put this together with our lawyer many moons ago, and we just kind of kept it in. So, and then underneath that it says respectfully submitted by, that's me, Jeremy Vassar, and then the date, and then the last part here is the above prices, specifications, and conditions are satisfactory and are hereby accepted. You are authorized to do the work as specified. Payments will be made as outlined above. And that's for your client to sign their name and the date. Now, I will say that this is a formality. We include it in all of our estimates just in case. We've never really had to fall back on this, and what it does is adds a layer of professionalism to your estimates, and it's more important for bigger jobs. So for us, if it's over $10,000, we kind of like to go through all the formalities of this, where we send them the estimate via email. A lot of times they'll print it out, sign their name, date it, send it back to us, and then we'll sign and date it as well. And it gives you another layer of security, and it actually makes your clients feel safer and you feel safer as well, which is, you want to have a smooth, frictionless experience from the time you go out and do the quote, actually put the estimate together, send it to them, and have them accept it. So that's really what a lot of this is about, is keeping everything as smooth as possible during your workflow, because again, you're going to be doing this a lot. Also too, when you have a client that is you've done work for them before, so a long-term client, it's very unlikely that they're going to fill this out every time. We just include it, and it just becomes part of our format. A lot of times when I'm doing this, they will ask me, "Oh, do I need to fill that out?" And if it's a really small job, a lot of times I'll just say, "Oh, don't worry about it, it's fine." And if they accept it via email, I'll just kind of make a note of it, put it on the board, and then they get on their schedule. All right, so regardless of what word processor you're using, I would highly recommend that when you save this to put it in your email, when you're going to email your client, to export it as a PDF. And this process works the same in pretty much any word processor, so I'll just show you how to do this real quick. It's going to work the same in pretty much every word processor that you're going to use. The reason you want to make it into a PDF is so that your client can't change the text and like the meat of your quote. So if you send it to them in a Word document or whatever, potentially they could open up in their own word processor and change around your pricing and what the quote included or didn't, either the exclusions or the inclusions, and you don't, that's not a good thing. So you want to make sure this is kind of, you don't need to overdo your security, but this is kind of a good best practices thing to do. So I'm going to go up here to File, and I'm going to come down to Export to PDF. And it might ask you something about image quality, because it's basically exporting as an image. and I just always pick good, and then I'm going to throw it into my desktop quotes 2018. It will retain whatever you have saved the original document as. So I have Bob and Jane Smith interior quote. That's fine, and then I'm going to export it to that my quotes 2018 folder, and that's it. So now you've got your finished quote. It is ready to be emailed, and in one of the following videos I will be showing you how to email it and then the format I use to email all my estimates to my clients. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.